Welcome to Inspiring Narratives, your favorite channel for uplifting stories, renewed hope, and cultivating a deeper connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Discover with me how turning to Allah can lead you to amazing changes in your life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back with another uplifting story that will, by the grace of Allah, strengthen your faith and renew your hope, inshallah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Get yourself your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get started with today's video. How are you, my lovely sisters? I'm hoping you're all doing well. Today, inshallah, I want to share a little bit of my own story with you, inshallah. I've never really spoken much about myself before because I didn't think it mattered. My focus here has always been to share inspiring dhikr stories, and I didn't want my personal life to take the spotlight away from the real purpose of this channel, which is to remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, today I felt inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speak from my heart and to share my story with you. It may be a form of comfort to some of you, inshallah. I felt the need to share my story because of the messages I received from my lovely sisters going through tough times. The hard times do not last forever, I promise you, and it's very normal to go through difficult times. I don't think anyone is free from that. Life is all ups and downs. I sincerely believe the struggles and difficult situations we all go through are also blessings in disguise. Whether we are rewarded for our patience during a difficult time, or maybe it's a lesson that we can learn and grow stronger from, or maybe it allows us to experience a level of happiness we might have never experienced had we not gone through the grief and sadness. If you are going through a difficult time, just know it will get better, inshallah. It always does. The great thing is, with dhikr, those times feel so much lighter and easier. So focus on sending peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam whenever times get tough. This is my go-to, salawat. Long form, short form, you choose. I prefer to combine both. Do some short form and some long form. You will find relief and comfort, inshallah. Stay strong and hold on to your faith and know that Allah is with you. He is always with you, and things will be okay. I believe it's the right time to properly introduce myself so you know a little bit more about the woman behind Inspiring Narratives. My name is Sarah, as many of you already know. I'm 45 years old. I'm aware that I sound so much younger, as many of you keep telling me. I promise you, I am 45 though. My parents divorced when I was around 5 or 6 years old, and from then on, my father raised me. It's not easy for a man to raise two young girls all by himself, but he did, and he did it with so much love. He truly was everything to me. May Allah reward him and grant him Jannah al-Firdaus al-A'la. Allahumma ameen. I have so much respect, love, and appreciation for my father, and I miss him dearly, even after 21 years. I was pregnant at the time I received the news of his death. I remember it like today. My father was the first person I shared the good news of my pregnancy with. When I heard about his passing, it was a very difficult time for me. I actually lost that baby from the immense grief I was going through. I started to bleed and miscarried. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. My father, Allah yarhamu, passed away in his early 50s. It was a shock. It was such a shock to all of us because it happened so suddenly with no warning at all. He wasn't ill. He wasn't on any medication. Had no health issues. May Allah grant my father and all our deceased loved ones Jannah al-Firdaus al-A'la. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah, we often assume death comes with illness, old age, or an accident. But that's not always the case. Death can come to anyone at any time. And that is the scary reality. May we be prepared. When our time comes, may we be prepared. And may Allah take our souls while He is pleased with us. Allahumma ameen. So my father was Egyptian and my mother is from the UK. I was born and raised in Hammersmith, West London. I grew up believing in traditional roles, that a woman should get married, have children, and take care of her family. That's exactly what I did for over 17 years. I was a wife and a stay-at-home mother. I gave my all to everyone around me, but I never took care of myself. I was always last on the list. Actually, I wasn't even on the list, if I'm honest. Unfortunately, doing anything purely for myself was always seen as selfish, so I never did it. Of course, that's total nonsense. Don't allow anyone to have you believe that. Prioritize yourself. You deserve your love and time more than anyone else. You need to take care of yourself and do the things that light you up and make you happy. I realized this with time, and this is a difficult one to grasp. If you have children, a mother, a father, whoever you have in your life, if you don't give to yourself what you need, no one else will. It doesn't matter who's around you or who you have in your life. Take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself and prioritizing your own well-being is self-love and not selfish at all. You have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. I learned that the hard way. While being a wife and a mother is a beautiful blessing from Allah, giving and giving and giving at the expense of yourself, it's not sustainable, healthy, or good for anyone. What happens is you completely lose yourself in the process. And that's exactly what happened to me. Eventually, I found myself slipping into depression. At the time, I didn't even recognize it as depression. I just didn't feel like myself anymore. Life felt heavy and dark, and I had no energy to do anything. The psychiatrist told me I had depression and that I was borderline severe. That was the point I realized something had to change. I dealt with it the only way I knew how to at the time, which was to remove myself from the situation. I asked for a divorce, but was put under conditions if I was to leave, I couldn't see my children and that it would be through the court. Needless to say, this was heartbreaking for me. Even just remembering it now, as I share my story with you, has me teared up. It was a very difficult time. However, I left because I didn't have a choice. After the divorce was finalized, I got to see my children a few days per week. It was a very difficult time, but I needed to get better so that I could look after my children. I started to rebuild myself and I finally started to feel better again. And after 2 months, I was asked to come back for the children's sake. It was hard merely thinking of going back after I had rebuilt myself and moved away from what initially caused my depression in the first place. I went back for my children's sake. Things improved for a while, but with time, they slipped back to how they were before. I could feel the depression returning, and this time I knew what it was. I knew I couldn't go through it again. I had to leave for good. I accepted that not every marriage is meant to last forever. During that time, I would get so many messages from women in the exact same situation as I was, unhappy, wanting to leave, but feeling trapped because they were financially dependent on their husbands. That's when it really hit me how important it is for women to have their own money, to never feel stuck, to never feel like they don't have a choice. When I left, I didn't know how I was going to survive financially, but that wasn't my biggest problem. My biggest problem was depression. The one thing I knew for sure was I couldn't stay, and that I had to start taking care of myself. That's when the 10-year journey began. A journey of me trying to figure out how to go from being a wife and a mother to being on my own and providing for myself. Totally different life. I tried many different business ideas, but nothing really worked as I had planned. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me and introduced me to dhikr. I was introduced to dhikr through a YouTube video, and I was hooked. I watched video after video. I created a daily routine for myself and started practicing. So many things started opening up for me. My life was filled with blessings. One of them being starting Inspiring Narratives, this channel. Dhikr eventually led me to Ayatul Kursi, which I have been practicing for almost 9 to 10 months now. And I absolutely love Ayatul Kursi and will never stop by the grace of Allah. May Allah keep us steadfast. Allahumma ameen. With Ayatul Kursi, along the way, things just got more clearer and things felt right. Things just started to fall into place. And that's when I had the breakthrough. But I realized the reason I wasn't moving forward wasn't because of anything I was doing wrong. It was because I was stuck in my old identity, which wasn't who I was today. Years had gone by, I had changed so much, yet I was still seeing myself as the old me, as the stay-at-home mother who is provided for, And a stay-at-home mother who is provided for, and a woman running her own business and making her own money, are two very different identities. Years had gone by, I had changed so much, yet I was still seeing myself as the old me. And that's why I felt stuck and couldn't move forward. I want you to ask yourself this question: how do you see yourself? Does how you see yourself match your goals and desired life you have for yourself? Because if it doesn't match, then it will be impossible to achieve your goals no matter how hard you try. I hope that you can learn from my experiences and save yourself years, inshallah. Going back to dhikr opens the heart, it clears the mind, it helps you see what you couldn't see before. And that's exactly what happened to me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me a moment of clarity and everything came full circle. I went back into digital marketing, something I had learned about years earlier. But this time it felt completely different. I realized I didn't need to learn anything new. The business model was the same as before. What had changed was me. That's when it all clicked. You cannot outperform who you believe yourself to be, no matter how hard you try. That insight became the freedom formula, which I put together so that you too could benefit and transform your own life, inshallah. I believe we will have many more success stories to share on this channel, inshallah, as a result of the freedom formula. I pray that your transformations are even greater than mine. Allahumma ameen. I put this together when I realized that so many other women were going through the exact same struggle I had been through. Waking up every day feeling stuck, unclear about what they want from life, questioning their purpose and not knowing how to move forward. It's that heavy, frustrating place where you're trying so hard, but nothing seems to change. And I knew that if I could find a way out, I wanted to help other women do the same. So to just conclude my story, I had that moment of realization and guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I share with you all the steps I took and the mind shifts I went through that helped me start my new life with confidence and a clear direction. I share it all in the freedom formula. That was the moment everything changed for me and I started my digital product business. And for the first time ever in my life, I feel true to who I am as a person, because who I see myself as matches the person I am today. I hope that makes sense. To my beautiful sisters who are listening to me right now, those of you going through hard times, carrying sadness in your hearts, or feeling stuck and unfulfilled, I want you to know something. Things can change and change fast. You don't have to keep living the same pain or the same story. By the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have the power to choose differently. You can step into a new chapter just like that. You can rewrite your story into one that feels lighter, more hopeful, and filled with joy and purpose. I say this with so much love. Like an older sister who has walked that difficult road, I know what it feels like to question yourself and your life. And I also know the strength it takes to bring yourself out of it. And it all starts with a decision to change. So please believe me when I tell you it's possible. With dhikr, with dua, and with small steps of courage, your life can transform in ways you never imagined possible. You can change your story today and finally be the hero of your story. May Allah bless your journey and grant you clarity, ease, and so much joy. It's a beautiful journey and I want you to get excited about the possibilities, because the possibilities are endless. May Allah bless you always. And that's it for today's video. Until next time, my lovelies, I leave you in the care of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.